Hi there, this is Kingsley. So this phone right here is the Redmi A1 Plus. This is one of the cheapest phones that Xiaomi has to offer right now. This phone costs 55,000 Nigerian Naira or around $120 to $125. Now with such an amount, which is quite cheap, will you be able to get anything reasonable out of a phone like this in terms of performance or in terms of everyday usage? So I'll try to answer that in this video because I have spent a couple of weeks with this phone and I think I have a couple of things to show you. And when it comes to the build quality, this phone is built in plastic as you would expect. At the back of the device, you're going to get a fingerprint reader, which is really good to see for a price like this. And then you're going to get two cameras and you see the flashlight. On top of the device, you're going to see the speaker cutout, and it also has a headphone jack and a microphone outlet there. The build quality of this device is not really solid. Once you pick this device up and you hold it, you will know that this is a very cheap phone. Now from the box, this device comes with Android 12 Go Edition. Now for those of you who don't know, Android Go Edition is a very light form of the regular Android, which runs on very cheap devices that have very cheap processors. More like saying you have Facebook and then you have Facebook Lite. That is what the Android Go Edition is. So the Android 12 version of the Go Edition is what runs on this device. And it runs on the MIUI 12 user interface. Now for some reason, the MIUI 12 interface that runs on this very phone is quite different from the one that runs on like the Redmi Note 11 and other Redmi devices. All those smooth animations that you regularly see on the MIUI, they are not available here. And I can really understand that because of the kind of processor that runs inside this phone or because of the kind of speed that the device has. And the chipset that runs on this device is the MediaTek Helio A22, which is a very, very basic, when I mean basic, very basic entry level processor that runs on cheap devices like this. And for a processor like this, don't expect anything in terms of gaming or in terms of doing very hard work. I haven't tried to game on this thing because it would be useless to game on this phone right now. Like the A22 might not even play any game at the lowest graphic settings. So I haven't tried playing games with it because I don't want to hurt the device. As for the memory option, you only get one memory option with this device. And that is a 32GB internal storage, and then you get 2GB of RAM, that's it. Even though you have the option to insert an SD card, but for this day and age that we're living in, 32GB is absolutely nothing. Like sometimes 4 or 5 applications will not even be able to perform very well in a 32GB phone. So if you're getting this device or you intend to get it, then you have to keep that in mind that the performance of this device is very, very, very basic and entry level. Now, when it comes to the display, this device has a 6.5 inches LCD display. Now, with how cheap this device is, it gets to at least 400 nits of brightness, which is not bad. Using it outdoor is a bit of a struggle, but if you can navigate your way through it, you'll just be able to use it very well. And also, the display has a teardrop notch on top, which is quite old school, but yeah, you still have it on this device. And also, the display is quite smooth. Like, honestly, for the amount that this device goes for, I've seen devices around this price that are not so good. Like the display is not as good as this device. So when it comes to the display is quite smooth. I've been able to use it. I scroll through pages, I do things. You could still feel like this is not a high-end display, but at the same time, it still gets the work done. For the price that this device sells for, that is a big deal for me. So as for the display is just phenomenal. I like it. And then when it comes to security, you have a fingerprint reader at the back, which unlocks the device very fast as you would expect at this time. When it comes to power, this device has a 5000 milliamps battery inside, which is kind of a standard in 2022. And it also has a 10 watts charging speed. So you should be able to charge this device from 0 to 100 in about 2 hours and 30 minutes or 2 hours and 40 minutes from my testing. And the battery really lasts for long. If you're not somebody that uses your phone too much, or if you're not somebody that really uses your phone for a lot of things, this battery or the battery on this device should be able to carry you one full day and half of the second day. The main lens on this device is 8 megapixel, while the selfie is 5 megapixel. The second lens there, it's supposed to be a QVGA lens, which is 0.08 megapixel if I remember correctly. It does absolutely nothing. It's basically useless. It's just there for fancy. Now, for pictures, don't expect anything spectacular. The pictures, I'll say they are just okay for the price of the device. There's nothing spectacular. So I wouldn't really buy this device for the camera. Now, who is this device meant for? Let's assume that probably you have kids or you have maybe elderly people that you want to get them a phone, or somebody that this is the first time that they are trying to use an Android phone, or they are having a smartphone, they won't really mind. You can get them a phone like this. But if you're a user or a heavy user, I wouldn't really advise you to go close to this phone, because you're going to end up disappointing yourself in every way. So as usual, my name is Kingsley. If you haven't seen other videos here on the channel, you can just click on the YouTube card here and go and check out other videos, all right? If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll catch you again in the next one.